Respected President, Honourable Minister, Excellencies and distinguished guests, I'm delighted to be able to speak on this important occasion. Robert didn't tell me what a lively discussion I would be following. And the format of these things, I have a very, very long speech, which I now wish was much shorter. I am very anxious that I shouldn't hold up the Minister, but there are an important set of issues that have been raised with me, which if I can't answer now, I will certainly take away, we can discuss later, or I can come back and what I would like to say, and I'd ask you please, this shouldn't leave this room at the moment because we've not been able to speak to her, but while I sat there at the table, I heard the good news that we are going to be contacting the wonderful young lady to tell her that she has got a visa and she will go to London. So I realise that I can't solve all the many difficult issues raised by some of the other speakers, but we do listen and we do, where we can, try to reach out. So I'm very happy to continue that conversation. The bond we are here to celebrate today is a very special bond between Commonwealth countries. We have roots in a shared heritage. We share a set of core values, including a commitment to parliamentary democracy and traditions of a tolerant and pluralistic system. We share a commitment to protect and uphold human rights. And I'd like to start by paying tribute to the work that the Commonwealth Society, all of you in this room, does in Bangladesh to uphold the spirits and values of our Commonwealth. I think one of the messages I've heard today is that we need to do more between us to clarify what the Commonwealth is, what it isn't, and what we can do. We need to do more to build on the themes of earlier years to encourage and reach out to the youth so that they can see that this is their Commonwealth. The Commonwealth today has never been so important as when it faces unprecedented global challenges. There are challenges facing all of us that no one country can tackle on its own, challenges that demand a joined-up, coherent response. The Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Malta last November, leaders agreed to strengthen the Commonwealth's contribution to tackle these shared challenges, such as countering extremism and radicalisation, combating corruption, and building the resilience of smaller states to deal with issues like climate change. And this brings me to the theme of Her Majesty's message to the Commonwealth and of this year's Commonwealth Week, an inclusive Commonwealth. This is especially important to me at a very personal level. I am privileged to be the UK's first woman High Commissioner in Bangladesh. My appointment shows how far my own organisation has come to embrace diversity and inclusion. A third of British embassies and high commissions are now headed by women, but even we still have some way to go before we reflect, as we should, the diverse makeup of modern British society. The Commonwealth is a diverse family of 53 independent member states. We span Africa, Asia, the Americas, Europe and the Pacific. We include some of the world's largest, smallest, richest and poorest countries. The Commonwealth is home to 2.2 billion people, around 2/3 of whom are young people under the age of 30. And it is this diversity that gives the modern Commonwealth its strength. As Her Majesty the Queen said in her message today, the greater the diversity of those included in such a shared enterprise, the greater the gains. We must work together for a Commonwealth where every girl, boy, woman and man can realise their potential. An inclusive Commonwealth is one free of discrimination on the grounds of age, race, language, place of residence, religion, sex, gender, or sexual orientation. And as Her Majesty the Queen notes in her message, a level playing field with no discrimination is only the starting point. In Her Majesty's words, true celebration of the dignity of each person and the value of their uniqueness and contribution involves reaching out, recognising and embracing their individual identity. An inclusive Commonwealth is about respecting each other's differences and ensuring dignity for all. As the Commonwealth Charter sets out our values, this includes a commitment to equality and respect for the protection and promotion of civil, political, economic and social rights, including the right to development, for all, without discrimination on any grounds. It goes on to say, we emphasize the need to promote tolerance, respect, understanding, moderation and religious freedom, and that the respect for the dignity of all human beings is at the heart of that. We accept that diversity and understanding the richness of our multiple identities. An inclusive democracy, rule of law and freedom of speech are in the long term the key to economic success as well. I personally believe the moral case to be unquestionable, but there is a hard business case for diversity and inclusion too. The evidence confirms that diverse companies generate better productivity and profits, and that discrimination against women or minorities of any sort or certain parts of society can have a measurable impact on economies and GDP. There is a challenge, I think, for Bangladesh in delivering the Honourable Prime Minister's vision of 2021. Bangladesh rightly prides itself on its rich culture and traditions of harmony, diversity and tolerance. Together with the involvement of government, civil society, international partners and donors, this has led to real progress on many fronts. Bangladesh is rightly proud of its achievements, many Millennium Goals. I can rehearse them, I'm conscious of the time, but you have met targets to halve the proportion of people living on less than $1 a day, to halve the proportion of people suffering from hunger. You've met your target of achieving universal primary education and to eliminate gender disparity in primary and secondary education. But there is still more to be done in ensuring that the whole of Bangladesh's population can contribute to its continuing growth and share in the benefits it brings. Globally, on average, women earn 24% less than men. World Bank figures suggest that in Bangladesh, on average, and I know averages and stats are tricky figures, women earn 60% less than men for the same work. Globally and across the Commonwealth, women are still underrepresented in most parliaments and key leadership positions. In Bangladesh, you have some phenomenal women in senior roles, and the Honourable Speaker herself is a Commonwealth scholar. But 20% of your MPs are women, which is the global average, but still short of gender parity. Globally, 1 in 3 women has experienced physical or sexual violence. Some surveys suggest that in Bangladesh, as many as over 80% of women and girls experience violence in their lifetime. Child, early and forced marriage presents a serious and persistent violation of the rights of young women and girls across the Commonwealth. It's a problem here as well. 10% of Bangladesh's population, a total of some 16 million people, are disabled, and they make up a disproportionate percentage of the poorest of the poor. We, through our development work, are working with the government, the agencies and the people in Bangladesh to make sure that the global goals for sustainable development signed last year do offer a historic opportunity to eradicate extreme poverty and ensure that no one is left behind. We are supporting the government and the people of Bangladesh to meet those aims. But let's be clear and pause for a moment. This is a really powerful message, one that I think is at the heart of an inclusive Commonwealth. No one left behind. Bangladesh was born as a result of a struggle against intolerance and exclusion. You are one of the largest members of the Commonwealth in terms of your population size, and you have an overwhelmingly young proportion. Bangladesh represents a significant proportion of we, the people of the Commonwealth. Together, all of us here today, the government, people of Bangladesh and the UK, have an important role in shaping global change and in upholding and promoting the core Commonwealth values, including political pluralism, democracy, tolerance, diversity and inclusion. Let us make sure that no one is left behind. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Blake. It's a wonderful intervention and speech. Now I have the great honor